lot of Black people go through this same thing. I spent a lot of my life walking for white comfort.
Hmm.
There's a thing called, I had 2 conversations about it today. There's a thing called code switching, where you speak one way with your family and friends, and you speak one way for work, or one way when you're around one group of people and one way when you're around another.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times Black people refer to it as their work voice or their white voice. And that is just a microcosm of what we have to do to operate, to blend in as much as possible, as much as we can, because we can only blend in so much. But just carrying little stuff like that is, I'm filibustering right now. I'm so sorry.
No, this is really good.
Carrying that load is heavy, and you don't realize it's heavy until you put it down for a second. You don't realize how much of my life, how much of my existence is spent making sure people feel comfortable. Me getting pulled over and changing the station.
Wow.
Changing the radio station to something like, often I go to my classical station, which I do listen to.
Yeah.
But if I got pulled over, that classical station's coming on because it confuses the person who's pulling me over. It pulls them out of their stereotype instantly. And then all of a sudden, I'm not some Black guy they're pulling over. I'm an anomaly.
Yeah.
And that, I'll take that, because that affords me a little bit more leeway to have a real genuine conversation with them. And then when the time is right, I mention to them that I'm a cop's kid. And then I wish I had a video for every time. So of the facial expression changes once they establish by, checking the title on my car, because my dad co-signed with me on my car. By once they figure out that I'm telling the truth, that I'm a cop's kid, I suddenly am a person. I'm suddenly their kid.
Wow.
I'm you know what I mean? I'm no longer a thug or a potential thug or a potential crime stop. Their hand moves away from their gun.
Oof.
You know what I mean?
That's good perspective that I haven't thought of, as far as like I've heard of white voice. Like, you get on the phone, and I've laughed about it, and we all make jokes about, all of my friends, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, my white friends will say, I got to put my white voice on. It's like a joke that we've all talked about as funny and as legitimate, but I've never, that's why it's embarrassing to me that I've never really, because we're laughing about it all together,
right.
I've never really, really understood that there is an entire persona that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems there is an entire persona that Black Americans have to put on while they live in their own country to just get by and survive without being victims of racism.
Correct.
An entire
you nailed it. That's it.
I mean, when you say putting classical music on and using white voice over the phone and all this stuff, why, I think the main thing that makes me so frustrated with myself and my community is why in God's name has it taken me, I'll speak just for myself, why in God's name has it taken me this long to see the serious issue? I've always seen the stereotype.
Sure.
I've always seen, growing up in the South, I've always seen my friend's mom says some stuff, and I'm like, that's a little racist. Yeah. I've noticed the stereotype that people hold towards Black people, but I've never seen the lethality of it, or I've never acknowledged it. I've never acknowledged, that's a problem that can expand into what we saw with George Floyd. Not can, but does. And like you said, not just George, the countless times that kind of killing has happened, and there weren't video cameras out.